Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of the Speech and Language Kids podcast. On today's episode, I'm going to be introducing you to a friend of ours named Buttercup the Speech Gnome. But I also have two very special helpers with me here today. Would you guys like to say hello? All right, I want you to tell us your name.
Hello.
I want you to tell us your name and how old you are.
I'm Oliver and I'm 9 years old. I'm James and I'm 12 years old.
And who is this that we have with us?
We have Buttercup the Speech Gnome. Yay!
Now, usually this podcast is just for the grown-ups, but today's episode would be super fun to share with your clients as well, because we are going to be telling the story of Buttercup the Speech Gnome and how she came to our world to search for humans who could speak their words of power. All right, do you want to put Buttercup down on the ground so you don't have to hold her the whole time?
Nope.
You're going to hold her the whole time. Okay, great. So inside our SLK curriculum, Buttercup the Speech Gnome goes on daily speech quests with our friends. Our curriculum is designed to include teaching materials that help our friends learn to speak their words of power, aka their speech and language skills. And Buttercup's side quests are the part that makes it fun. So today I'm going to be telling you Buttercup's story. So if you are playing along at home and you would like to join us on this, you can print out this same activity inside the SLK Curriculum Hub. We have a Buttercup coloring page that you can color while you listen to the story. And then we have the full story written out as well. So you can find that at hub.speechandlanguagekids.com to print out Buttercup's welcome kit. Your adult will need a membership to access the resources, but without further ado, here is the story of Buttercup the Speech Gnome. In the land of Gnomewood, where mushrooms grew as tall as trees and flowers bloomed in every color you could imagine, there lived a gnome named Buttercup. Buttercup had a magnificent white beard. Yes, female gnomes can have beards too. And Buttercup's was particularly fluffy and magnificent. A golden beehive hat with real bees living inside, and the brightest, most curious eyes in all of Gnomewood. She was known throughout the land as the cleverest gnome around. But something was wrong in Gnomewood. A creeping darkness called the silence had begun to spread. The silence was not like nighttime, which is cozy and full of cricket songs. The silence was cold and hungry. It crept along the ground like fog, swallowing sounds as it went. First, the bird songs faded, then the rustling of leaves, then the laughter of gnomes echoing through the forest. Wherever the silence spread, the color drained from the flowers. The mushroom houses grew dim. Stories went unfinished. Songs stopped halfway through. The gnomes of Gnomewood were frightened. They huddled inside and only dared to whisper. One evening, Buttercup was sitting alone near the edge of the Whispering Creek, thinking very hard, the way she always did when something needed solving. Her bees were still buzzing. All around her, the silence pressed in, but right there, inside her golden hat, her bees hummed and vibrated and buzzed, and the silence couldn't touch her. Of course, Buttercup thought, sitting up very straight. The silence hates sound.
Yeah.
She thought harder and she realized something else. Words are the most powerful sounds of all. Words hold a magic stronger than the silence. In Gnomewood, everyone knew that words carried magic. A kind word could heal a broken heart. A brave word could light up a dark room. The right word, spoken clearly and with courage, could do almost anything. But the gnomes were too frightened to speak loudly anymore. And that's when Buttercup found the resonance stone. It was half buried in mud beside the creek, a stone unlike any other. It had 20 perfect sides, each one smooth and shimmering. When Buttercup picked it up, it felt warm in her hands, like it had been waiting for her. She said a word, just one small word. Hello. The stone flickered. A tiny pulse of golden light rippled outward, and right where the light touched, the silence pulled back, Just a little, but enough. And then something unexpected happened. A flower nearby spun in a complete circle. A nearby frog let out a tremendous loud brop. A pile of leaves leapt straight up into the air and scattered everywhere. Buttercup blinked. Then she burst out laughing. It's the magic overflow, she realized. When the stone is powered by a magic word, it pushes back the silence. But the extra energy has to go somewhere, and it goes everywhere. She said another word, acorn. The stone pulsed again. The silence retreated another inch, and this time Buttercup's hat spun 3 times on her head, while her bees buzzed in wild loops around her. She said another word, wonderful. Pulse. The silence shrank back further. A nearby mushroom flipped upside down and then righted itself. A pine cone rolled up a hill instead of down. Every time she spoke a magic word, 2 things happened. The silence got pushed back a little more, and something wonderfully random and silly occurred.
Yay!
The stronger the word, the more carefully it was spoken, the more magic it carried, the bigger the effect. But one gnome's words, she quickly realized, were not enough. The silence was vast. It would take many voices, many magic words, spoken bravely and clearly and often, to push it back for good. That's when she thought of humans. Humans were remarkable, Buttercup had always thought. They came in every size and had the most extraordinary ability. They could learn to say anything, any sound, any word, and when they spoke, truly spoke with effort and heart and practice, the magic that came out was extraordinary. Some humans were still learning their word magic, still finding the right sounds, still practicing the right words. And those humans, their magic, once unlocked, was the most powerful of all because it was earned. It was brave. That's who I need, Buttercup said. She tucked the resonance stone safely in her pocket, pulled her hat down firmly so her bees would stay close, and set off into the human world. Her quest? To find humans who were working on their word magic. Teach them to charge the resonance stone, and together, one brave word at a time, they would push back the silence forever. And she has been traveling ever since. And now she has found you. Buttercup didn't end up here by accident. She has a very special sense for word magic. She can feel it, like the warmth in her pocket where the resonance stone lives. And when she got close to you, the stone got warm, warmer than it's been in a long time. Your magic seems especially strong. But Buttercup doesn't just take anyone's word for it. She's a scientist, after all, and the cleverest gnome in Gnomewood. She needs to see for herself.
Yeah.
So here's what she's asking. Speak your magic words right now, your best ones. And let's see if you can power the resonance stone.
Rawr.
That's a good one. All right, let's put Buttercup on the floor so we can practice our words of power. All right, can you do it?
Restoro.
Oh, that's a good one. All right. You got her? She's so big. All right. So, James, I want you to say the word resonance with a really good R. That's going to be your word of power. You ready?
Resonance.
I love that good R sound. All right. Go ahead and roll our resonance stone. What'd you get?
8.
All right. So we have a table that tells us what happens when we roll. So if you are playing along at home, you can download the table in Buttercup's welcome kit. All right. Here's what happened when James spoke his word of power. Buttercup's hat spins 3 full rotations on her head. Her bees zoom out in a startled loop and then zoom back. She points at you, speechless, then finally manages. That has never happened before. Ooh. All right. Your word of power, Oliver, you're going to say shoestring with a really clear SH on the beginning. You ready?
Shoestring.
Ooh. I want you to look at my mouth. We're going to make our lips like a square and go shoestring.
Shoestring.
Better. All right. Roll your word of power or roll your resonance stone. What'd you get? A 1.
Critical failure.
It's not a critical failure.
Okay. It's a critical magic.
The stone lets out a single perfect chime, like a tiny bell deep inside it. Buttercup freezes. Did you hear that? That hasn't happened in years. Ooh. All right, so if you're playing at home, pause and roll your stone and say your words of power. We'll see what happens. After our rolls, after our words of power, Buttercup is quiet for a moment. She looks at the stone. She looks at you. She looks at the stone again. Then she reaches up, straightens her hat, takes a very deep breath, and nods. The kind of slow, certain nod that means a decision has been made. I've been searching a long time, she says, and I know extraordinary magic when I see it. That was extraordinary. She reaches into her coat and produces a rolled up scroll tied with a tiny green ribbon. She holds it out to you with both hands, which, for a gnome, is the most respectful way to give someone something. This is your official Speech Gnome certificate of membership, she says, and your quest log. Every adventure we go on together, you document it right here. 1 stone filled in for every quest completed. She watches you take it. You are one of us now, an official member of the Speech Gnome crew. She grins wide and warm and so very proud. Here's what that means. We are going on adventures together. You'll practice your words, we'll fight the silence, and, she pauses, just like this part might be actually the most important part of all. We're going to have a really, really good time doing it. She holds out her hand, small and gnome-sized, but steady. Ready, Speech Gnome?
Ready. Yeah.
Ready with a good R. At this point, I invite each and every one of you to also join Buttercup Speech Gnome's crew. You can try your hand at using your words of power to see how the resonance stone responds. And you can fill out your own membership certificate to show that you are officially a part of Buttercup's crew. Also has a place for you to write down your words of power, which is what you're working on in speech, and a quest tracker so you can keep track of your progress.
Ravenclaw.
And then every weekday, Buttercup is going to have a new speech quest waiting for you. Just log in each morning into our hub and see what Buttercup has in store. It's a new activity each day, and it's designed to be played alongside our SLK curriculum goal packets to help you learn your words of power and improve your communication skills while also having a ton of fun. All right, last thoughts on Buttercup. What do you guys think?
So fun. Magical. Would recommend to 9 out of 10 doctors.
Fantastic. You heard it here first, folks.
Amazing.
All right. Join the adventure at hub.speechandlanguagekids.com. And as always, we'll see you on the next episode of the Speech and Language Kids podcast. Bye for now.
Bye. You do. Bye.